Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Outside with live cam, more of the same around here. Do we get any sort of pattern interrupt when it comes to our forecast? We'll talk to Mike Osterhage in just moments. Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday. It is March 23rd.
Hey, thanks for joining us. Hope you're having a good week so far. It got a little warm yesterday afternoon.
It did, but the clouds hung in there tough. And this morning, again, a sprinkle or two here or there.
That's true. Let's go ahead and check in with Mike to see what we can expect. Is it going to get messy overnight to tomorrow?
We'll talk about that in a second. First of all, I was thinking about you yesterday because I saw more than you were talking about a minute of sunshine on Tuesday. I saw a decent amount of sunshine yesterday afternoon. So,
well, you know what? I was thinking of the other day, the day before. Well, they're blending together this week.
Well, that's true. Yes,
Yeah.
It is Thursday morning.
Yes.
It does seem like it's Wednesday morning and Tuesday with all the mist and drizzle.
Forgive me.
Yeah, you're forgiven.
Thank
So, and as far as things getting active tonight, yes, but this is not going to be a huge incident. It's not looking like right now. First of all, we have our clouds out there. Visibility, there were a couple little, actually a few more spots that had reduced visibility. Kerrville, New Braunfels, Port SA, not bad, but we'll just keep an eye on it because like yesterday, it started to get thicker as the morning rolled on. 71 degrees right now. It is warmer this morning and there's even more humidity out there. Mold is moderate, oak is moderate, a little bits of everything else. And throughout the rest of the morning, temperatures, again, stay basically steady. A little bit of mist, a couple of patches of fog out there. There is a breeze, which is helping out with the fog not forming up. Southeasterly wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. And then later on this afternoon, we're going to make it up to 86. Partly cloudy skies, so we'll see an okay amount of sunshine out there. Wind out of the southeast, again, continues to just pull in all that humidity, and it is on the breezy side. Now, as far as tonight is concerned, or I should say overnight, yes, there is the chance, and this is going to be late tonight, more like in the wee hours tomorrow morning, for an isolated to scattered, strong to potentially severe storm. This will traverse the area in the overnight hours and early tomorrow morning, but the majority of everything is going to be further up to the north. This is not looking like it's going to materialize into a big deal. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about what's in behind the front for the weekend, and then another front actually down the road in a couple of days. Steph, Mark?
Actually, Mike, we have to take a quick...
I'm sorry,
no
Steven.
No worries. It's early, and, we're not really used to me jumping in this early, guys, but unfortunately, we have a pretty serious incident here, 35 northbound. Now, this is a shot at Schertz Parkway. Flashing lights, never a good sign out there. We are working to get information on a major crash that is going to cause delays if you are traveling north there on 35. You can see folks right now where they're exiting is FM 3009. Now, first responders have been out there sometime since 3 this morning. Again, we're working to get some information. I have reached out to Schertz PD, and we know Katrina Weber is actually on her way, working to get some more information there on the scene. But got to be safe out there because we have those first responders that have blocked off several lanes. At this time, we know that area is shut down, but we're not seeing a big buildup just yet because it is 4:33 right now. So we have the early morning on our side, but we have to make sure we watch for those first responders. Again, this is along 35 northbound as you're making your way towards Schertz. This is going to cause big delays as the commute does get rolling. Giving you a wide look at the metropolitan area. It is fine. It's quiet. Some construction we can talk about a little bit later on, but I really want to keep our focus here at 35 there northbound at Schertz Parkway. That is the shot from Transgender, but we also have a different shot here at 35 at FM 3009. You can't really see it too much, but again, traffic is exiting there at this time. We are going to work to get some information. Again, I have sent Schertz PD an email, so hopefully they can get us some details on the situation here that is unfolding. We know this is going to cause some delays for anyone that has to travel northbound. We're going to track this closely for you guys throughout the morning and have updates right here on GMSA. Mark, Steph.
Thank you, Stephen. This morning, the search continues for suspects involved in the death of a 17-year-old from here in San Antonio.
This is a story that we have been following since it happened back in 2020. Crime Stoppers issuing a new alert as the search continues.
Our Alyssa Cole staying on top of this story joins us now in the studio. Alyssa, what can you tell us about this case this morning?
Yes, good morning, Mark, Stephanie. Well, the victim in this case, Sebastian Vasquez Carpio, was first reported missing back on September 19th, 2020, just after midnight. Now, here's video from when it happened. Take a look at your screen. Police tell us later that day, officers discovered that he had been shot. They also learned that after the shooting, the suspects carjacked someone and used the vehicle to get rid of his body. That vehicle was then set on fire. We are told the suspect also burned evidence of the crime before burning the vehicle. Now, call Crime Stoppers if you have any information about this case. The number is on your screen. Take a look. It's 224-STOP. As we mentioned, this is a story we have been following following closely, and it is the topic of our most recent Texas crime story. You can find it now on KSAT.com, our KSAT YouTube channel, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Mark, Stephanie.
Thank you very much, Alyssa. 2 teens have been arrested after sheriff's deputies found THC vape pens, bullet casings, and a fake gun inside a car parked on a local high school campus. BCSO deputies say they saw the car parked at Brennan High School around 2 p.m. Monday. They say several juveniles were going in and out of the vehicle. Deputies say smoke was also seen coming from inside. The car was then pulled over for failure to use a turn signal. 5 juveniles were inside the car. 2 16-year-olds were arrested. They're charged with possession of a controlled substance. Comes as BCSO increased patrols at that high school just this week.
A trial date has been set for a man accused of starting a fire that killed San Antonio firefighter Scott Dean back in 2017. Edmund Johnson will face a jury on September 18th. He is facing 5 charges that include murder, arson resulting in death, and 3 other arson charges. Investigators believe that Johnson set fire to his gym in May of 2017 because he was behind on payments. That fire killed San Antonio firefighter Scott Dean. The trial was initially expected to begin in February of this year. After being appointed a new defense attorney, it was pushed back.
Case of a man accused of leaving a 5-year-old boy's body in a Colorado ravine is at a standstill. Attorneys on both sides here say they're waiting for more evidence. Daniel Garcia is charged with injury to a child. The child's mother, Nicole Aguilar, is also facing charges. The boy was found in Colorado just days after his grandmother told police she suspected he died in a San Antonio motel. The couple's accused of burying his body in a remote location and then going to Costa Rica. Right now, 436, 71 degrees.
In more Fiesta news, still ahead, what the Fiesta Flambeau Parade Association announced and what to expect at this year's parade.
Checking TransGuide, and if Steven's in early, that means we have some troubles. And right now, we've got a lot of lights right there in the center of your screen. That's due to that problem northbound 35 near FM 3009. This is out in the Schertz area.
Let's look out there with live cam. It's humid out there this morning. We're starting at 71 degrees, but if you're a fan of the sun, it looks like we'll see a little bit more of it today. We'll be checking in with Mike very soon.
440, now that we know about the change in location for this year's Fiesta this year, the Fiesta Flambeau Parade Association also made a big announcement yesterday and asked their honorary Grand Marshal for the 2023 Illuminated Night Parade. It's Shelly Ladas. She's a San Antonio native, has been part of the Tejano music scene for nearly 40 years. We spoke to the association president, says to expect bigger and better floats this year.
The excitement that builds from the very beginning as it goes through the entire parade route, it just builds from one end to the other. It's almost like a flow, you know, where you start like a wave and it gets bigger and bigger as it goes along.
Flambeau Parade is the night of April 29th. You can expect even more bands from San Antonio and even overseas, along with an Indigenous Peoples Blessing Ceremony to honor the earliest natives of San Antonio. And KSAT 12 is your Fiesta station. We've got you covered, including Flambeau Parade.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm glad that we're hearing about this early and, you know, we have some time to prepare.
That's right. We've talked about how great it's going to be to do Battle of Flowers. We've got KSAT people also covering Flambeau as well. 441, 71 degrees.
And still ahead, a preview of a new play coming to the Guadalupe Theater, how this play incorporates San Antonio's West Side.
Plus, we dive into new programs to help the transgender community feel comfortable communicating their voices.
In this morning's GMA First Look, new details on the dentist accused of poisoning his wife from one of his former employees.
I still can't wrap my head around it.
Courtney Lyons worked in Dr. James Craig's office. Craig now accused of secretly poisoning his wife by putting arsenic and cyanide in her protein shakes. The once beloved dentist now facing first-degree murder charges.
There's a group of us that all work together that have been on Messenger kind of talking about this because it's hard. It's very hard. It's devastating. It's not. Obviously, the evidence is out. It is what it is. You know, we have to accept it, but it's not. It's so shocking. Like we all adored this man. Like we always looked up to him. He was the best. He was funny.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have much more on this developing case. Plus, legal expert Dan Abrams weighs in live with your GMA First Look. I'm Kana Whitworth, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Those who identify as transgender often struggle with discrimination and harassment, which can lead to mental health issues like anxiety and depression.
Communication may be a factor in helping those in the transgender community feel safe. Ursula Perry talks about the new programs that help people in transition communicate in a way that is comfortable and gender affirming.
Sienna grew up in a rural area, a small town where she buried her true feelings about her gender for years.
I've been a fish out of water my entire life.
5 years ago, she lost a close friend and was hospitalized for depression.
That was the first time that I had admitted to anyone that that I was trans. This is why I've never felt, connected to the male experience. This is why, when someone calls me sir, I've always cringed inside.
2 years ago, during COVID isolation, Sienna started medically transitioning from male to female, starting with hormones. But she still wasn't happy with how she sounded. That's when she sought out gender-affirming voice coaching.
Most of the patients that we see here can achieve their goals or close to their goals with voice therapy alone, which is a significantly less invasive option. Let's turn this into a hum.
Lichtenstein worked with patients on pitch, resonance, speech patterns, and breathing. Men and women approach each differently.
We start at a sound level, playing around with weird sounds and coordinating them. How about some twang to get some resonance going? Meow, 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 meow.
Then they practice sentences and conversation. Here's Sienna in May of 2022.
The rainbow is a division of white light into many beautiful colors. These take the shape of a long, round arch.
And now?
The rainbow is a division of white light into many beautiful colors. These take the shape of a long, round arch. Looking at where I was and where I am now, it's like, it's crazy. It's really increased my quality of life.
I want all my patients to be able to communicate with confidence out in the world.
The majority of people who take part in this program are trans women. Apparently, in the medical transition of hormone use, the estrogen and progesterone have no effect on the vocal tract. That's why they need this training. Non-binary and agender people take part as well. The doctor says it's usually a 10-week program with one session a week. Ursula Perry, KSAT 12 News.
Let's look out there with Trans Guide looking over at I-35 at Schertz Parkway. Oh, goodness.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Stephen.
Yes, no worries. We have been keeping a very close eye here at 35 northbound, Steph, but let's get a wider look at Trans Guide. You can see that flashing lights still remain out there, and first responders have had their work cut out for them. Want to make a quick correction. This is 35 northbound. If you are heading toward FM 3009, you'll have to exit early. You actually will see that traffic is getting off on Schertz Parkway. That is where first responders have been directing traffic for the last hour or so. Our Katrina Weber is heading out there to get some information, but you can see no buildup has been reported just yet. It is very early on, so hopefully that will reduce any congestion that may pop up out there on the roadway, but we're going to have to keep a very close eye on that. As we get one last look here at 35 at Schertz Parkway, just not a good situation. Anytime I have to jump in early, you know it's a serious crash that we are talking about here. 35, one of the busiest corridors here in the state, so we have to make sure we give first responders plenty of room. Watch out for them. I am in contact right now with an email exchange with one of the officers from Schertz PD, so we're working to get some information confirmed. What we can tell you is that this is a serious crash that they have been working for quite a while.
It seems like they always happen in that Schertz corridor of I-35.
It's no stranger to trouble.
Exactly. Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, you bet.
Tough spot, though, especially later this morning.
Who saw mist coming into work?
Just a little bit.
I didn't see anything. So that's, I mean, it's real light, and it's not being reported anywhere, but you'll run into just a little bit here and there. So roads are going to be damp once again this morning, and beautiful view from yesterday. We did see a little bit more in the way of some sunshine and great picture. C5 coming in there and flying over the sun. A maneuver he hasn't seen in a while. Great shot, Mr. McClellan, over there at Woodlawn Lake. Thank you very much for the KSAT Connect picture. All right, we do have, obviously, plenty of clouds out there. You can see it's fuzzy looking once again along the horizon. All that humidity, and visibility is still pretty good in and around town. We got a couple little spots where there's some fog trying to form up more further out in portions of the hill country. And like yesterday, and I say this, it's going to get thicker at times as we approach the sunrise and just after that. So just be on the lookout for it with all the humidity out there. 71 degrees in town. 73 is the hot spot on this map down there at Pleasanton. And these numbers mid-upper 60s, almost like early sort of summer kind of humidity out there. It is going to be changing in the next about 30 hours by mid-morning tomorrow. We will have, I got that 10% chance, not 100%, pardon me on that one, 10% chance for just a couple of little sprinkly showers out there this morning, that mist, I should say, and we'll keep a lot of clouds around. Same scenario as the past couple of days. Then we'll see some sunshine and get up into the low 80s already by early afternoon, and then top off in the mid 80s at 86 degrees. Southeasterly wind is going to be breezy, pulling in more humidity, and we'll see a bit more in the way of some sunshine later on today. Okay, here's the computer model, and again, it's got a couple little bits of mist out there this morning. We keep our clouds around throughout morning hours and then see some sunshine later on in the afternoon. This one isn't as bullish with the clearing, but I'm going to call it partly cloudy skies. Then we go into tonight, and out there to the northwest, notice how, and this is after midnight, those showers, that line is going to be developing. But this one, I mean, it really doesn't have a whole lot of going on with it. And this will be the situation into tomorrow morning. Now, yes, there will be a couple of heavier downpours, a couple of thunderstorms moving on through here, so we're not going to discount everything, but this is going to be for looks like now want to be the latter part of the morning commute here in town. We'll still have some rain around, and this will continue to move on through, and then the front moves through about mid to late morning, and as it does, it is going to get rid of the humidity. We stay very humid all day long, all night long, but then again, here comes that front, comes on through. It's going to be, like I said, mid to late morning, and then we dry out quite nicely. But as far as the chance for anything strong to potentially severe, there is the chance, but most of that's going to be further up to the north. This does not look like it's going to be a repeat of what we had last Thursday into Friday morning. 78 degrees on a couple of different regions. It won't be the same. 78 at noon. Mostly cloudy skies. High temperature today makes it up to 86. So definitely on the warm side by about 10 degrees. Breezy, partly cloudy, a little more sunshine, very humid out there. And then in the overnight hours, we start to see some of those showers, a couple of thunderstorms developing. Yes, there will be some around. No, it's not going to be as big a deal, again, comparing to last week at this time. Also, we're not going to get the cold air coming in here in behind that. So we will get drier air, and it will get eventually cooler going into next week. Another quick shot of some drier air. But tomorrow afternoon, Saturday, perfect.
I love your precipitation. If we're going to do a 10% investment and get a 100% return, I want you to be my guy, my financial guy, right?
The one with that. So.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Oh, a typo can mean,
I know.
It can change
so many
things.
things.
Yeah.
We understand. 452, 70 degrees.
It's a work of fiction set in a real place, San Antonio West Side. A look into the performances in Chato's Bridge. That's coming up next.
5 till 5, a fictional drama set in the 1970s on San Antonio's west side called Chato's Bridge will premiere tonight at the historic Guadalupe Theater.
It's a story of love and loyalty, but also the desire for vengeance. Jesse Degollado gives us a preview.
The rehearsals for Chato's Bridge are as intense as the storyline itself. Now grown, Chale and Simon are the last of 4 young boys who saved a little girl being raped by a rival gang.
They actually escaped with the little girl on their bikes, but the 2 who were left behind were killed.
The deaths of their friends, Fofo and Chato, haunt them decades later.
It's about love. It's about loyalty. And through that process, there comes revenge.
Yet the woman who was the child being assaulted takes on a new meaning in their lives.
Even though she was the victim in the beginning, she actually kind of becomes their protector in the end.
The fictional Chato's Bridge is based on that bridge over there, close to Casiano Homes and Casiano Park, here on the west side. The play by Mono Riojas Aguilar is not only set on the west side where they grew up. Jorge Pina says it portrays many of the people he and the playwright knew.
Guys that somehow always got in trouble, but somehow there's always a hero there.
They say Chato's Bridge is not about the stereotypes associated with the west side. It's about the humanity within it.
And this is a play about really good kids who were put in a really terrible situation.
Jesse Degollado, KSAT 12 News.
And Chato's Bridge premieres at the historic Guadalupe Theater tonight at 7 p.m. with performances at 8 p.m. on Friday, Saturday, and a 3 p.m. matinee on Sunday afternoon. So tickets are available at the Guadalupe Theater box office and on the website for the Guadalupe Cultural Arts Center.
Break a leg to that cast. 457, 70 degrees.
Changes are now being put in place at NEISD. What KSAT investigates found that seems to be reoccurring inside their schools.
If your travels take you on northbound 35 in the Schertz area, you're going to run into this problem this morning. Stephen Cavazos is already here. He's already been providing us on-air updates about the situation and traffic being forced to leave the main lanes of the highway. We'll get an update from him coming up.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Big changes being put into place at NEISD. What KSAT investigates found that's happening over at Northeast Independent School District campuses.
Outside with live cam. If you heard the AC kick on overnight, don't be surprised. We're only down to about 70 degrees in the overnight hours and early this morning. So a warm start to our Thursday. Good morning. It's Thursday, the 23rd of March.
Thanks for joining us. Hope you're having a wonderful week. Yesterday, yes, I hope you got to see some sun more than the day before.
I did see more sun yesterday.
Yes,
Thank you
yes.
for asking.
I think a lot of people were looking forward to that. So let's go check in with Mike to see how much more sun we'll see today.
Yes, we will see. We'll continue to add to that. But at the same time, as we see a little more sunshine, we see higher temperatures. So it will get hotter than what it was around here yesterday. And our low temperature right now of 71 degrees. The warmest low temperature normal is about 73, and that's late July, early August, right around in there. So we're looking at temperatures that would be normal in roughly mid-July, and we got a bunch of humidity out there right now. We are actually roughly 15, almost 20 degrees above normal for a low temperature, 86 for a high later on today. So that also is going to be well above normal by a good 10 degrees. The aquifer yesterday went up 0.6 of a foot. That's some good news that we went on the plus side, and mold and oak are both moderate. Little bits of hackberry mulberry out there. Of course, the updated count's going to come out later on this morning. We're not seeing much in the way of fog. We just got to be on the lookout for it. Again, we do have a bit more of a breeze this morning, so that helps out with not having a lot of fog to form up. Temperatures, everybody's in the upper 60s, low 70s right now. Again, way above normal, and there is some mist out there this morning. I didn't see anything coming into work, but you may see there's little patches here and there, very light stuff. Partly cloudy skies then later on today, and again, mid-80s, so it is going to be on the hot side. Now, that front's going to move through in the overnight hours. We will start to see some showers, a couple of thunderstorms develop in the hill country late tonight, and then throughout the morning hours tomorrow. But most of that is going to be well up to the north of us, and then we will have some of those morning showers still hanging around here. There is the chance for some of those to be strong to potentially severe, isolated to scattered variety, and then this will work its way across the area. But again, most everything is going to be further on up to the north. Obviously, we're going to keep a close tab on that. But then once that front moves on through here, we get rid of the humidity. Great afternoon tomorrow, great on Saturday. How long will the great weather last? Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Stephen, got some big problems out there, right?
Yeah, big problems here, Mike. And, I've been off and on the phone with our friends at Transguide working to get some information confirmed here for you. 35 northbound. Now, this is a shot at Schertz Parkway. Take a close look there. What we're looking at is traffic, but it's actually exiting FM 3009. I was speaking to our friends about this over at Transguide earlier because Schertz PD had actually posted an update about the crash being reported in this area, but traffic was actually being diverted a little bit further back along 35 northbound at Schertz Parkway. They've since moved that scene up, and now traffic is exiting there at 3009, but the crash is a little bit further up northbound. So that's why we say it's near the area, and sometimes that information changes as the scene changes. So you can see now things are moving, but the area of the highway is still shut down at this time. Again, I have been in an email exchange with our friends over at Schertz PD trying to get some information confirmed. Katrina Weber is making her way to the scene, so hopefully we'll hear from her and get a shot on the ground in just a moment. But let's get you to the map. Thankfully, there's no buildup that we are seeing out there this early in the morning. And remember, it's still very early on, so not a lot of folks are out there at this time. But you do see that obviously 35 is such a busy spot, so this is going to impact the commute regardless. But giving you a wide look here in the metropolitan area, it's more green on the screen, more relief, but still plenty of active construction. So be on the lookout for those TxDOT crews out there. But the big headline of the roadways and probably of the morning here will be along 35 northbound. And again, they have moved that scene up, so traffic is actually exiting FM 3009. That crash scene is a little bit further up north, so PD is responding, working to get this scene cleared up. We'll find out how long this takes, and we'll give you that information coming up a little bit later on, guys.
Thank you, Stephen. Drugs seized by police on campuses only to end up in school dumpsters, not trash cans or who knows where.
KSAT Investigates spent months examining how officers at Northeast Independent School District handled substances that tested positive for THC and found that these items rarely end up in an evidence room.
Dylan Collier walks us through the findings and how NEISD is responding to our reporting by changing its policies.
Last October, after a MacArthur High School student ate a marijuana gummy that caused her to get sick, staff found her classmate with a similar edible hidden in a pill case. But after police confirmed it contained THC, the active ingredient in marijuana, the gummy and test kit were thrown into a faculty trash can. Weeks later, at Legacy of Educational Excellence High School, a district police officer found a student in possession of leafy marijuana and a THC vape pen. This time, after testing the vape liquid, records show the nearly 4 grams of marijuana and a legal smoking device were both tossed in a dumpster. Last year alone, NEISD police investigated 371 cases at the district's elementary, middle, and high schools for possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 2, which includes THC and vape pens like this one. Time and again, officers reported tossing seized items like THC gummies in the trash, or in some instances, didn't indicate at all where the items ended up. How did this happen?
It shouldn't have happened. It just should not have happened. The officers are all fully aware of how the discarding of the products is supposed to work.
Aubrey Chancellor, NEISD's Executive Director of Communications, points out that THC oil was often rinsed down the drain by officers and that the vape devices were no longer operable after being tested.
Because the vape pens can't be reused, because the oil can be discarded right then and there, it was just something that they were doing.
She walked in school, fine, healthy, clean backpack.
Destiny, whose daughter is a freshman at MacArthur, has twice been called to the high school this semester to pick up her child for being under the influence, and has twice been forced to take her to the emergency room. In the first incident, which Destiny described as an adverse reaction to taking Benadryl with friends, the teen also tested positive for THC. Late last month, after skipping class, the girl said a man at a nearby gas station bought her and her buddies alcohol. After the teen showed up back on campus intoxicated, Destiny arrived to find her being brought out in a wheelchair.
They buckled her up and handed me the barf bag and said, take care of it.
A subsequent ethanol screening showed the freshman was nearly 3 times the legal limit to operate a vehicle.
I'm very pissed. I'm hurt and I'm angry and I'm scared for children.
KSAT Investigates looked at the other large school districts in San Antonio and found that all of them have strict policies for storing seized drugs and paraphernalia, including THC vape pens. Chancellor said NEISD is now attempting to follow suit.
Moving forward, all of the officers are going to take anything and everything and take it back to the evidence room. We're glad that this was brought to our attention so that we could take the opportunity to relook at things, to see if that is really the best practice. And moving forward, that isn't going to occur anymore.
For KSAT Investigates, I'm Dylan Collier.
Dylan, thank you so much. NEISD officials declined to make Chief Wally McCampbell available for an interview for this story. They would also not say if officers were disciplined for their handling of that drug evidence.
The Department of Homeland Security says its new fentanyl targeting operation has seized 900 pounds of the drug in its first week along the border. Operation Blue Lotus began on March 13th. It has led to 18 seizures, 16 federal arrests, and 2 state arrests. According to the CDC, fentanyl has killed hundreds of thousands of Americans.
Our coverage of the fentanyl crisis continues online. Just scan the QR code on your screen. It'll take you straight to our Fighting Fentanyl section of KSAT.com.
Continues this morning for a connection to 2 attempted kidnappings in the southeast side. Now police need your help identifying the man driving this maroon-colored Nissan SUV. Now self-defense instructor at Ohana Academy Brooks is urging females of any age and athletic ability to take a self-defense class near their home. She says the technique combined with muscle memory and practice can empower women to have a plan of defense should they ever need one.
You will be panicking, and it's important to just have what you're going to do in your mind. Learning at once is definitely helpful, but coming in to actually practice is definitely always better.
Cassie Soares said some of her students include law enforcement and victims of domestic violence.
Now to an urgent manhunt overnight after a school shooting up in Colorado. Comes just weeks after a deadly shooting at the same school.
Police say a student opened fire on 2 school administrators before fleeing the scene, and overnight word came that officers have found the suspect's car. A body was also found. Alyssa Cole joined us now here in the studio with the latest on this story. Alyssa?
Yes, good morning, Mark and Stephanie. This is a story we've been following closely, and we've just learned police in Denver found the suspect's car about 50 miles away from the school, along with a body nearby. And we've recently learned this morning it is the suspect's body.
Body is in the woods. It's going to take a little while to get the scene processed.
Police say 17-year-old Austin Lowell opened fire at East High School yesterday, wounding 2 administrators.
That's crazy.
They say Lowell is a student who underwent daily pat-downs because of previous behavioral issues. They did not elaborate on those previous issues.
This particular student actually had a safety plan that was in place where they were to be searched at the beginning of the school day every day. They had been searched previously to today and had never had a weapon on them before. However, today, during that search, which took place away from other students, away from other school staff, they did produce that weapon and fire shots.
This shooting comes just 6 weeks after a student was shot near the same high school and later died from his injuries.
I rushed over here for the 4th time this year to get my son out of a lockdown.
Administrators now say armed officers will be stationed at high schools in Denver for the rest of the school year. Officers were removed from the schools back in 2020 in the wake of the police killing of George Floyd, which set off national protests. But since then, a record number of weapons have been found on school property, 200 during the last school year. Now, as for the 2 victims of yesterday's shooting, one has been released from the hospital. The other was last listed in serious condition. Look for the latest on this story coming up on Good Morning America beginning at 7. Mark, Stephanie.
Alyssa, thank you. 512, 70 degrees.
After months of struggling, help is finally on the way for some San Antonio business owners. What the city is saying about the COVID Construction Recovery Grant program.
Let's go outside with live cam. What to wear today? Do you need an umbrella? Do you need a jacket? I don't know. We're going to find out from Mike Osterhage. So plan your entire style and wardrobe for the rest of the week and his forecast coming up. After staying open through months of construction, help is finally coming for some San Antonio business owners who say they are struggling. Funds from the COVID Construction Recovery Grant will reportedly start going out soon. The city's Economic Development Department says the grant money will be dispersed as soon as recipients turn in their paperwork. 218 businesses applied for assistance. Most of them are on the St. Mary's Strip. The city says notifications will go out through May, and the last of the money will be going out by early June.
It's good news. It's been a mess for such a long time.
Indeed.
Time now 5:16 and 70 degrees for now.
Apple TV Plus streaming service has some new updates. How this will affect its viewers' pockets. Next.
I used to pre-rinse dishes because my old detergent didn't actually get them clean. But new Cascade Platinum Plus has me doing dishes differently.
Scrub, soak, note. I just scrape, load, and I'm done.
Only Platinum Plus is bigger, with double the Dawn grease fighting power and double the scrubbing power. So you can load this and get this. I'm not the type to break the dish rules. Or am I? Scrape, load, done. New Cascade Platinum Plus. Dare to dish differently.
Think he's posting about all that ancient Roman coinage? No. He's making real-time money moves with Merrill. So no matter what the market's doing, he's ready. And that's how you collect coins.
Your money never stops working for you with Merrill, a Bank of America company.
I occasionally get bladder leaks.
I tried Always Discreet underwear. It absorbs an entire glass of water. It fit like a glove. It just felt like real underwear. Game changer.
It's the protection we deserve.
In today's Tech Bites, forget about free baseball on Apple TV+. Last season, Major League Baseball offered some exclusive Friday night games on the platform for free. But this year, fans will have to pay the $7 monthly fee to get all of those games. And Verizon is launching a new service to rival Zoom. It's called Blue Jeans Basic, which allows up to 25 users to take part in unlimited free meetings with no time constraints. And the best part? Subscriptions are totally free. Finally, pay by Palm at Panera. It's testing Amazon's palm scanning technology at 2 locations in St. Louis. Panera says it's meant to offer customers a fast way to pay and connect with their loyalty program. And the plan is to eventually expand the test to more restaurants in the next coming months. Now, on the other hand, you can still just pay with cash or card. Those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
Now let's get to a very busy morning here off 35 northbound. This is a shot at Schertz Parkway, but what we are looking at is traffic actually exiting the main highway because a major crash has been reported in the area. You can see first responders have blocked off the area just north past FM 3009. That is a shot that we are seeing from TransGuide. I've been often on the phone with our friends clarifying some information with them. So what we are seeing at this time is traffic exiting there at FM 3009, and it is actually leading to a little bit of a backup congestion taking place out there in the northbound lanes of the highway. But we just received information into our newsroom from Schertz PD. Unfortunately, this is a confirmed fatal crash, and that's where we find our Katrina Weber, who's live there now with the very latest information. Katrina.
Well, good morning, Stephen. Yeah, we just got off the phone with Schertz PD. In fact, they are confirming it's a 53-year-old man who was killed, a man who was on a motorcycle. Now, we have seen officers in this area looking around sort of in that central median. They've been walking around here on these northbound lanes. We haven't been able to see here in the dark exactly the crash scene, but we understand, according to police, that motorcyclist for some reason ran into the back of an 18-wheeler that was being towed. The motorcyclist was killed. This happened a little bit after 2 o'clock this morning, but you can see that they're still working here. These lanes are still shut down, the northbound lanes of 35 in the area of 3009. In the meantime, traffic being diverted onto the access road. It's not very busy right now, but it is starting to pick up, at least in the time that we have been out here. So if you're traveling in this area, if you have to travel in this area, you want to allow yourself extra time as the morning goes on. But if at all possible, you might want to avoid the area because these lanes are shut down until further notice as Schertz police do investigate this crash. Reporting live in Schertz, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you very much, Katrina, and she's going to be out there reporting for us all morning long as necessary. One alternative, you may have to just take 10 out to the east and then head up on 46 and toward New Braunfels. Anyway, beautiful picture out there. I love that shot of the bluebonnets and the Indian paintbrush. Great looking shot. Thank you very much for the KSAT Connect picture. Notice that fuzzy look right there along the horizon. That's all that humidity we're looking at. We don't have any thick fog in and around the metropolitan area right now. There is some mist out there, so the roads are going to be damp. That 10% thrown on in there. Temperatures are in the upper 60s, low 70s right now. They're going to be staying steady all morning long, and we'll still have a little bit of mist here and there. Then some sunshine by noon. Already up to 78 degrees, so already above the normal high temperature. And then we top off at 86. So it's going to be hot today. We will have more sunshine and humidity and a breeze coming in here out of the southeast, just continuing to pull in all that humidity. All right, here's the computer model for this morning. And, you know, again, a couple little sprinkles here and there. We see some sunshine by the afternoon. And then again, tonight is when some of those showers and storms start to develop. But this is not a real big situation as far as seeing widespread heavy thunderstorms. There will be a few of them, obviously, and this is going to be heading in toward tomorrow morning's commute and then working its way on out of here. Now, I want to show a different computer model. This is that rapid update model, and this one barely has anything going on. So I think what we can kind of take away from this is the majority of the activity is going to be further to the north. Yes, there will be some around here, but it is not going to be a huge storm outbreak. Now, with that in mind, we do still have the chance for a couple of isolated, potentially severe storms, especially in northwest portions of the hill country, and that's going to be in the early morning hours. Humidity continues to stay very high. And then as that front moves through, and it's going to be about mid to late morning tomorrow, winds shift around, dry air comes on in here, and it's going to be just a fantastic day. There's the outlook, and this is, again, late tonight, early tomorrow for the isolated to a stray potentially strong thunderstorm, and that's going to be primarily in portions of the hill country. But again, the majority of everything will be further on up to the north. That doesn't mean we're completely out of the woods as far as anything strong to severe, but again, most up north. 78 degrees today at noon, mostly cloudy skies. High temperature today makes it up to 86. It's going to be hot and humid out there. Breezy wind out of the southeast, pulling in all that humidity. A few showers and storms developing overnight tomorrow morning and through about mid-morning. Most activity up to the north, but we'll have some rain around here. Then we clear on out. Beautiful in the afternoon. Low humidity. Great Saturday and more humid on Sunday. Another front's going to keep us actually slightly below normal first part of next week. More after this.
It is time. The crownless again shall be king.
Become who you are born to be.
The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King is returning to theaters for a 20th anniversary celebration. Fathom Events and Warner Brothers are showing the Oscar-winning film at U.S. cinemas on April 13th and 19th and Canadian theaters on April 20th. Check fathomevents.com for theater locations and tickets.
No doubt you've heard of our trouble at home.
A dragon, fire and stench. It is evil. Pure and simple.
You want me to do battle with that?
1981's Dragon Slayer was Oscar nominated for its visual effects, but director Matthew Robbins says cheap home video copies hurt the film's reputation.
The damage had been done back then in the early 80s when it was manufactured by some indifferent person on an assembly line or whatever. So anyway, I have been unable to watch the movie in all these years because it was too painful.
Now the cult classic is back on disc in 4K ultra high definition with a new commentary by Robbins and his frequent collaborator Guillermo del Toro. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Good morning. Let's look out there with live cam. We're starting your day humid again, but I'm looking forward to some sun. So we're going to check in with Mike right now.
Good morning, everybody. Thursday, it is March 23rd. We're going to talk about an incident on 35 in Schertz coming up with Stephen and Katrina in just a moment.
Yes, we are. But for now, let's go ahead and check in with you about our changing weather.
Yeah, it changes. Actually, tomorrow is when when the changes are going to be coming about. It's been sort of moving back as time has rolled on. First of all, this morning, starting off just about like every other morning, although it is warmer than what it was. We still have plenty of humidity out there. You can kind of see the fuzzy look along the horizon there. Temperatures are in the low 70s here in town. Dew points at 66, so still a ton of humidity out there. You're going to run into a little bit of mist around the area. We're not seeing much in the way of fog. There is some well out there in toward Rock Springs, but we do have a decent breeze around here, so that helps with the fog from really forming up, kind of prevents that from forming up widespread. Upper 60s, low 70s all around the area. These are numbers more like lows you'd see normally in, say, mid-July. Mold and oak are on the moderate side. Hackberry, mulberry low. The updated count comes out in a couple of hours. 78 at noon, 86 high temperature today. We will see even more sunshine than yesterday. Breezy wind out of the southeast at 15 to 20 miles per hour. Just continues to pull in all that humidity around here. And yeah, it's just basically going to be hot and humid later on today. Then tonight is when, and actually it should say overnight and early tomorrow morning when that front moves on through, there is the chance for a couple of isolated to scattered, strong to potentially severe storms, although most of this activity is going to be, and what we see most as far as the rain is going to be further up to the north out of our area, but we will still see some, especially tomorrow morning around this time into mid-morning. Then that front moves through, then we got some great weather in behind that. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, so that big problem on the far northeast side, right?
Right. Unfortunately, Mike, things are just getting a little bit worse as the minutes go by. And by that we mean traffic is going to be a little bit of a nightmare there. So, again, we've been talking to our friends over at Schertz PD, and they want us to remind you, avoid this area if you can, because this is what we're seeing there. The 35 exit, that's actually FM 3009 that folks are trying to get off early at. They have actually blocked off a portion of the highway north past FM 3009, and you can see it is causing a mess for those that are trying to exit early. So what I would advise you to do, if you can, exit at Schertz Parkway. I know that's a little bit confusing there, but this is just the camera at Schertz Parkway. That exit that you see is FM 3009. If you can, exit there at Schertz Parkway earlier, so that way you can avoid that congestion. But you'll see a big backup on the access road that is taking place. Let's take you to the map, and that's where we see that big stretch of red and orange that continues to build along the northbound lanes of I-35 near FM 3009. Remember, that crash is just past the areas, so we're going to get some details on that in the next few minutes, but giving you a wide look at the metropolitan area. Thankfully, more relief. Plenty of green, still a lot of active construction. We'll talk about that in the next few minutes, but I do want to get back to the major incident here at 35 northbound. That's where we find our Katrina Weber. Katrina, we know this is a fatal crash. Obviously, the scene's still very active, causing backups out there.
Well, that is true. It is a 53-year-old man who was on a motorcycle who was killed about 2 this morning, but this is the result now. And as you said, a backup. What a difference that a few minutes make. This access road is just heavy with traffic right now, where it wasn't just maybe 10 minutes ago. But what happened, according to police, is that the man on the motorcycle, they say, ran into the back of an 18-wheeler that was being towed. The motorcyclist is the one who was killed here on the northbound side of I-35, just past 3009. We still have Schertz police out here actively investigating this crash. Well, what we haven't seen is the 18-wheeler that he ran into. We also can't really get a good look at the motorcycle. It's all very dark out here, but that is what police tell us happened here this morning. And as a result, these northbound lanes are shut down until they finish their investigation. And of course, that means a big headache for other drivers who are trying to head north. They do have to exit and use the access road, as Stephen said, and that is causing traffic problems in this area. Reporting live in Schertz, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. New this morning, South San ISD will shut down 3 of its school campuses. That decision was made last night during a board meeting.
Alyssa Cole joins us live in the studio. And Alyssa, the board previously voted against closing the schools in the past, correct?
That's exactly right, Stephanie. Now, that board previously made that against KSAT Middle School, Athens Middle School, and Kindred Elementary and West Campus High School back in January. That's when they made that decision back in the past, as you mentioned. But last night's decision to close the middle school and 2 elementary schools came as a recommendation by the superintendent. When the Board of Trustees voted 5-2 in favor of closing the schools, the board did not specify when the schools will close or where the students will go.
Yes, I have a recommendation to close all 3 schools, KSAT Middle School, Kindred Elementary, and Athens Elementary, as described by Ms. Ramirez.
Now, this decision comes nearly a month after South San ISD announced it's facing a $12 million deficit. Student enrollment is also down 20% over the last decade. The superintendent will now decide how to reassign staff and students from those 3 campuses. Mark, Stephanie?
Thank you very much, Alyssa. The son of a man killed by aggressive dogs last month confronted Animal Care Services at his advisory board meeting Wednesday night. Raymond Naheda lost his father last month and his mother was hurt. Now he says it's on ACS to do better. Naheda says what happened to his father, Ramon, was preventable. Naheda says this was a failure of a fragmented system with city services. According to a memo from San Antonio City Manager Eric Walsh, there were 114 calls to 911 and 42 calls to 311 about the home where those dogs lived. Naheda says that the attack on his father is proof that different city departments need to work together to keep this from happening to anyone else.
See something, say something. They did. I talked to the residents. I spoke with them, and I was astonished of all the calls they made to these people about these people. And then nothing happened.
Naheda says that he supports House Bill 4759, which allows for anonymous reporting of aggressive dogs to prevent retaliation.
Both owners of the 2 dogs that attacked and killed the 81-year-old man are now out on bond. This is according to Bexar County court records. 31-year-old Abilene Schneider was released on a $125,000 bond. That was yesterday. She and her husband are charged with an attack by a dangerous dog, resulting in death and injury to an elderly person and criminal negligence. A pretrial hearing is set for next month. Her husband, the other dog owner, Christian Moreno, was also released on bond last week.
5:39. The Federal Reserve has approved another quarter-point interest rate hike for its ongoing efforts to curb inflation.
The decision comes as financial regulators work to bolster the global banking system following the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank. ABC's Justin Finch has more for what this means for Americans and their money.
At the close of its two-day meeting, the Federal Reserve announcing another interest rate hike.
We remain committed to bringing inflation back down to our 2% goal.
The Fed approving a quarter-point core interest rate increase, its ninth consecutive rate boost since March of last year.
If we need to raise rates higher, we will.
Fed Chair Jerome Powell describing the central bank's efforts to cool inflation as a bumpy process, one he knows Americans will feel. The latest rate increase raising the already higher cost of credit card debt, auto loans, small business loans, home loans, and mortgages after 8 previous hikes. This Fed decision even more closely watched following the back-to-back failures of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank. The Fed, the FDIC, and the Treasury working together to give account holders of those failed banks full access to their money.
Our banking system is sound and resilient with strong capital and liquidity. We are committed to learning the lessons from this episode and to work to prevent events like this from happening again.
And so we're watching the Fed deploy simultaneous solutions to 2 critical concerns, using its regulatory power to shore up financial institutions while hiking interest rates to cool inflation. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
Time check, 5:40, 70 degrees.
Coming up next, more Fiesta announcements, this time with the Fiesta Flambeau Parade Association. Plus, what to expect at this year's parade.
Outside with live cam this morning. Don't really have to mess with the umbrella or anything like that. It's actually one of our clearer shots this whole week of the downtown San Antonio skyline. You're waking up watching GMSA. Welcome back, everybody. The Fiesta Flambeau Parade Association made a big announcement yesterday. They've announced their honorary Grand Marshal for the 2023 Illuminated Night Parade. It's Shelly Ladas. She's a San Antonio native, has been a big part of the Tejano scene for nearly 40 years. We spoke to the association president, who says to expect bigger and better floats this year.
The excitement that builds from the very beginning as it goes through the entire parade route, it just builds from one end to the other. It's almost like a flow, where you start like a wave, and it gets bigger and bigger as it goes along.
The Flambeau Grand Marshal is actor Danilo Carrera. KSAT Steve Spriester and Stephanie Jimenez will be hosting live the Flambeau Parade on the night of April 29th, right here on KSAT 12.
Looking forward to Fiesta and the Battle of Flowers Parade.
That's right.
We'll be there. Time now, 5:44 and 72 degrees for now.
And checking TransGuide. Big old mess continues up there on I-35 northbound at Schertz Parkway. We'll talk to Stephen coming up.
Puppies, more puppies. Kim has got another just adorable
This one
baby.
is so sweet. Oh, this is root beer float.
He looks like he's got a little bit of, I don't know, some sort of maybe healer in
yeah, maybe a little bit of a healer terrier in there too. Just a little bit over 2 months. So going to be this shyness. I think he's so cute right now, but he's going to want to get out and play. I'm telling you.
I also think he's a little bit tired, a little early in the morning for him right now. Decent sized dog.
Yeah, you're going to be a
he
good
will
puppy.
be easily trained. He's going to
100%. Yes, great with kids.
Great play partner, great running partner.
Exactly. Somebody be outside, especially with the warmer weather, want to go play.
Okay, couple of great things coming up here. First of all, the Fiesta medal.
Yes,
this is the new
so
one.
this is our El Rey Fido medal. It's $10 and it's at our Fredericksburg location. Our cat medal is on its way. So for all of our cat lovers, it's coming. But here's our El Rey Fido dog medal.
And then this, and you can check out some of these. I did the story on USA Live.
Yeah.
You can check that out. But some of the dog houses that were made at
Warren High School.
Warren High School.
Yeah.
Design the most adorable things.
They're so
cutest designs you have ever seen. They are fantastic. And you're opening up auctions.
Yes,
these, right?
yes. So these are available for auction. We've got 2 dog houses and 2 cat houses. So come and you can bid on them. It's on our website, sahumane.org/elreyfido. And all the proceeds, 100%, go back to all of our dogs and cats.
And again, they were fantastic.
They really were.
They were fantastic designs. really, really neat doghouse.
Yes, the students did such a great job at Warren High School.
Okay, so check all that out. Check out little Mr. Pibb over there. He's got snuggling.
No, he's like, I'm ready.
484 Fredericksburg Road, sahumane.org. Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
All right. Well, unfortunately, things aren't cute and fuzzy over here, guys. 35 at Schertz Parkway. Remember, this is just the shot at TransGuide. What we are actually seeing is traffic exit FM 3009 early, and it is creating a huge mess right there for drivers. You can see a lot of those folks are not heeding that warning. Avoid the area if you can. First responders have had to block off an area of I-35 northbound just past FM 3009 due to an unfortunate deadly crash that was reported earlier this morning around 2. Katrina Weber has been on this scene throughout the morning, and she's working to give us details there on the ground. But let's take a look at what this looks like on the map for you, because you see that big stretch of red. Earlier, it wasn't like that. There weren't a lot of folks out there this early in the morning, but now that we're inching closer to 6 a.m., this is going to be a big problem for anyone that has to travel north of I-35. So we're going to have to work to find different solutions for you. But you can see right now, it's best probably just to avoid the area, because traffic backed up 2 miles past Schertz Parkway now, moving at just 7 miles per hour. So not a good situation. Let's help our first responders out, get this scene clear, avoid that area. 35 northbound. Let's look for some different routes throughout the morning. But here in the town, things are quiet. The metropolitan area hasn't really shown any issues, but the big headline has been right there along 35. And while we're at it, travel times here from these communities aren't too bad. You can see things are moving from Bernie, 24 minutes along I-10 eastbound, 26 along 281 southbound, heading in from Bulverde, and a 26-minute drive time on I-35 southbound from New Braunfels. So the southbound lanes, where we tend to see a lot more traffic, it's not bad, but it's going to be these northbound lanes as folks are trying to get off there at FM 3009. We're going to look for solutions for you throughout the morning, but again, I spoke to Schertz PD. They want us to remind folks, avoid this area if you can.
That's a bad one.
Now, I is, like I mentioned earlier, take 10.
I-10,
eastbound, head up 46. Yeah. That's about the only way to I think, get around that, or 281 over. But
And you said earlier you were hoping that the early hour would help us out, that it would wrap up sooner than later. But no.
And I think also because it's a very serious crash, the investigation tends to take longer. They tend to move the investigation scene up a little bit. So that's why some of the information changes as the morning does roll on, and the commute just not looking good.
But it's amazing, even though it's early, it's amazing when you see the traffic backed up, just how much traffic there is, even at this hour.
Oh, yeah.
Busy highway.
All right, we will keep you updated, of course. Beautiful. I love these kind of pictures. And there is the windmill, that little silo next to it, and all the beautiful flowers. Absolutely gorgeous. Love that over there in St. Hedwig. Thank you very much for the KSAT Connect picture. And notice the gray skies in the background there. We've got plenty of clouds as of right now. We are going to see more sunshine, though, later on this afternoon. Mid-upper 60s, low 70s around here. I mean, this is like sort of midsummer kind of low temperatures that we're seeing, midsummer kind of humidity as well, with these dew points, sort of the measure of moisture in the atmosphere well above 60, and we've got some 70s out here. That's just that 73, 74 is where it gets just really, I mean, window dripping humidity, but this is rivaling that, especially for this time of year. Now, we do have a decent breeze out there, and that's what's helping to prevent a lot of fog from forming up, but there is some mist. 21 mile per hour wind gusts out there at the airport right now. Same thing over there in Los Maples, 18 in Kerrville. Temperature is going to stay steady all morning long as that southeasterly wind continues to pull in all the humidity. That's just going to lead to some of that mist out there. So just be on the lookout for that. Some damp roads. We'll already be above the normal high temperature at noon, up to 78. Then we're going to be topping off today at 86 degrees. More sunshine. We had a little bit on Tuesday, a little bit more yesterday, even more so today, which good news, bad news. Good news, we get more sunshine. Bad news, that just heats us up to the mid 80s and very humid. Computer models, a couple little sprinkles here and there, and then we do start to clear out as we go into the later afternoon hours. Then that line of showers and a couple of thunderstorms is going to be developing, but this is not really getting things going. And again, this is going to be overnight, not necessarily tonight. Earlier in the week, it had looked like this was going to be kind of an evening situation and extending into the overnight hours, but the timing has been slowing down. So this front's not really going to make it through here until, looks like right around late morning tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Here in town. We will have some showers, though, around the area for the morning commute and going into mid-morning. Then that's going to move on out of here, and we're going to clear out very, very nicely in behind that. Of course, some of those may be strong, potentially severe, but
it's not looking like right now this is going to be a repeat of what we had last Thursday into Friday morning, that most of the activity is going to be well up there to the north of us. We will get that drier air moving on in here, so Friday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon, Saturday is going to be great. Humidity comes back in Sunday, then another drop down early next week with another front that's going to move on through here, and that's going to cool us down somewhat going into the middle part of next week. 78 at noon today, mostly cloudy skies. High temperature makes it up to 86, so it's going to be hot and humid out there. It's going to be breezy. Southeasterly wind will just continue to pull in all that humidity. Front's going to move through about mid-morning and great afternoon. Then a beautiful Saturday. Sunday, not bad, and only 76, so at and below normal readings then Sunday going into the middle part of next week.
Well, it's the weekend. Let's go.
Thank you, Mike. 554, 70 degrees.
Pick 3, we have 915, Fireball 2, and for your daily 4, 6930, Fireball 4.
Cash 5, 3, 17, 18, 30, 31. Lotto Texas, 4, 10, 13, 19, 20, 45. And Powerball, 27, 28, 37, 50, 57. Powerball 5, Power Play 2. Traffic alert. Avoid I-35 north in Schertz if you can. We'll have an update next.